everyone! Thank you for joining me today. And today I will do a question and answer session. So I want to do something slightly different. I know a lot of people have been wanting to ask me questions. Some might be quite personal. Some might be a bit, you're not sure, should I ask this? Is it appropriate? So I encourage you to keep sending me the questions, and I'll try to collate and do question and answer. So for today, I have a special guest with me. And she will be helping me facilitate the questions that you guys have sent through. So thank you for sending me through those questions. So I'll be introducing my mom.
Hello, surprise.
So I thought I'd have her with me. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. First question, actually, interesting. In that note, what do you guys call your mom? Do you call mom, ma, mama, mother? I call her mother, or I don't know, mommy, me. Just an interesting one for me to just share with you. I call my mother mother. If you want, you can leave a comment below on what you call your mom.
So, whatever name, we're still the same. We're still a mother.
Well, we got the first question of the day. What do we have?
Okay, this is from Huiz, and she asked, would you rather teeth for pubes or pubes for teeth? What kind of question?
Teeth for pubes or pubes for teeth? Why don't you go? What would you say?
I have no answer to this.
You have to choose.
You do it. I'm just facilitating. Do it.
What would you choose? Thinking about it, I think at this moment, teeth for pubes, because I need my teeth to eat. And I think eating is more important. I mean, generally, I think even if I'm not sick, I would still have teeth for pubes. What do you think? Fair answer?
Good. Nice.
Alright.
Okay, the next one from Calvin Chia. He actually asked, what are the symptoms? Did you see or did you feel? Did it come suddenly? From Lena. And also, were there any early warning signs that you have ignored?
So I think some of you may know I've have been experiencing some acid reflux for quite a while, and I had some swallowing problems in the past, and then it went away. And then by the time I did my gastroscopy to check what was going on, COVID happened. And then my scope, the day before my scope happened was the day lockdown happened. So they cancelled my scope because it's non-essential. And then I had to wait again until it became essential. And then I did the scope again, and that's where they discovered that I had a tumor in there. So it's been ongoing, but there were a lot of roadblocks and there were a lot of hurdles. I believe even before COVID, or before the scope, I waited quite long before the scope to book the scope in as well. So I had on and off problems, but it wasn't like, it was okay. You know how when you have flu symptoms, sometimes you take tablets and you're like, oh, I'm okay now, maybe I don't need to check it out. So it was like okay and then not okay, and then it started getting worse. So in time, when I finally got the scope, that was already like quite a few months. It's a long stretch between, so a little bit unfortunate. That's my symptoms. Swallowing.
And from Lena, can it be operated? And how did you decide on your treatment?
So for my case, I can't operate because the tumor is quite large. It was 7 centimeters, and it was also hindering my bronchial pipe, which is one of the breathing pipes. So it was quite close to a lot of organs, so they can't actually operate. So that was out of the question. Therefore, chemotherapy was decided to reduce the tumor. Also because of my uh, blood condition from the past. I'll talk about that another day, but I'm wasn't eligible for radiotherapy. So it was either chemo or radio. And so it's just by process of elimination that I had to start on chemo, see how it goes. And then I think so far, the first round, it's been okay. It's helped me to swallow better. So hopefully we can just keep on this track.
Yep. And from Ellen Trin, where are you now in the process of things? Where are you?
What about you?
Well, I think she did say it quite lightly. It was okay the first chemo, but actually it wasn't that smooth sailing because she was admitted to the hospital. The reactions were quite bad, and for the 3 weeks, of course, including a few days in the ICU, was actually quite scary for us because of low blood pressure and then lack of potassium, lack of magnesium. There was a series of things. So doctor decided that she better to put her in the ICU. And of course, it worked better. The hospital really took care of her. So to me, the first chemo didn't actually go on that smoothly. But we just thank God that she just persevered. And with that diarrhea for almost 2 weeks, even for an ordinary person, it's quite difficult. But she went through it, and we're so proud that she came out of it. And of course, the antibiotics that they were giving it to her also contributed to that diarrhea. But now finally, she had this about 10 days where she can be very well to recoup. But the second one is coming again on Tuesday. So we are really leaving it to God to work that miracle.
14 Feb. So also the doctor has reduced half the dosage. So it will be less harsh on me next time. And we will just test and see based on the dosage on how that goes. So.
Yeah, and we want to trust God and pray that whatever dosage the oncologist is going to administer will be the best for her. Not 100%, it's more than 100% effective with minimal of the dosage, and yet not harming all her other organs and all her other faculties in the body. So that's what we are praying for on Tuesday.
Well done.
Okay, another question from Anonymous One and from Atina. What will really make you feel really comfortable now? Scented candles, bubble tea, fuzzy socks.
I think I have more than what I need. I don't really need anything. I thank all of you who sent me care packs. I really appreciate that. I've been using some of the products. I've got my funky socks. You can see my funky socks. So I'm very comfortable at home. Nothing more I can ask for really, except just for your prayers. What do you think?
Very good. That's true. I think prayers are the most needed thing now through this whole journey. It's going to be a long one, I think, but it will be an amazing one. Okay, from Grace and Pei Xian and Shin, I think a lot of people also out there asking how they can support her and what's the best way to support her, especially from those who are overseas, and how can they show love to you?
I think I've been more than blessed by everyone. I really cannot ask for more. I've had love and care shown in various ways, by gifts, by words. The only thing I think is I can't see you face to face. But a video call is as good. So spending time, I think that's been really good. So do your encouragement, your comments, you leaving me messages really helps, because I read through them and I really appreciate. So I really want to respond to every single one. Don't feel like it's pressuring me. I will do it in my time, so it's okay. But every time I read it, I get very encouraged. So it really helps me in my spirit, in my soul, to know that you're there supporting and that you're with me, and that you're praying. And I especially want to thank people who have prayed for the first time. You've never prayed in your life before. I really, really appreciate that you would actually do that for me, because it's very special. It means so much. It takes faith to pray to something up there and ask for something, and it's yeah, just to me it's so special that you would do that for me. So thank you for those who've done it. For those who have been praying continuously, thank you so much for the time. I know God will bless you in His own ways.
And also, I think for those of you who like to say a prayer for her, you can do it via the audio and then send it to her so she can listen up and in her own time. We really appreciate all the elders and pastors who have been doing that also, or calling her up, for a time of prayer. And she has a group of friends who also do the prayer via Zoom. I thought that was amazing. So things like that, I think all of you have given her a lot of encouragement, and she feels so good, receiving all this from you guys. So please continue. Okay, from Alex Tan on food wise, would you be more satisfied with a crazy discount or food samples?
What will you say?
At this point, I think as long as she can eat, I think that, yeah, we will be very, very satisfied. Not only her, but ourselves. I mean, we too. Yeah. So
it's funny because we went to Taiwan together. So Alex is Charlene's little brother. And then we were going around the food store, eating all the little samples. So if I can, I would choose samples.
yes,
because they're free and I can taste all the different little things. Then a crazy discount of the same thing but cheap.
Okay, from Luca, what's the hardest part of your journey?
Yeah, so now we're getting into the real serious questions, huh? The hardest part of my journey really is when I think back, what are the times that I have cried the most or struggled the most, and a lot of it is actually not physical pain. It's I look back and the first thing that comes to mind is receiving the diagnosis. But the first thought was, how am I going to tell my friends and family? That was very heavy on my heart. I wasn't even thinking of like, oh my gosh, am I gonna die? Am I gonna, get through it? Like, what the hell is this? I wasn't thinking about that. I was actually thinking about my family. Yeah, because they've gone through that with my sister. So it was very hard for me to break news like that again. And also to everyone else, it's not easy to hear news like that. And putting myself in your shoes, any of my friends have gone through something like this, I will be very heartbroken. So that was really hard for me. ICU and all that, I was too out of it. So I couldn't react too much. They poke the needles, do what they need to do, but I'm just too tired to focus on that. So I think it's a lot more mental, and the whole journey will be a mental one anyway. That's where most of the pain is, in the heart rather than these ailments. Yeah.
And for the family, I think it's a very difficult news to receive, but we just thank God. We have God. We have that faith in God, that God works everything out for our good. So with that, we just cling on to Him, because this is not the first time in the family, so it's very difficult. But then yet I said, God will work out a way when there's no way. So I believe this time is going to be a very amazing journey, and everyone can see God's hands in this.
Yeah. I think when I spoke to my family and told them about this, I think, Mom, you've been very strong. I mean, of course, it's hard to hear, but I know that you've tried to not let fear come in we weren't thinking about, oh, when is she gonna die? Things like that. It's about, don't be afraid. Like, it's okay, we got this. Let's go through this one day at a time. And I think that strength has really helped. So we take things one day at a time, and we don't think about all these unnecessary worries and thoughts and anxieties. It will come, but we need to be quick to recognize it and kick it out, because it's not going to be helpful. I need my mental state to be healthy so that I can focus on my physical. Yeah.
And all this cannot be possible without the prayers of everyone out there. So thank you very much for really lifting us up in prayers every day. Thank you so much. Okay, the next one, Kelly asked, what have you learned in this journey? Not yet. You are still there. You are still starting.
I've learned a lot. Do you have any pointers?
Tell them what you learned.
I've learned a lot. I found it really ironic that when I was physically ill, that I received a lot of healing from my soul and from my heart. So in the past, growing up, I've always had this in my mind, and I know it's not true, but it's strange, because I've always had this playing in my head that I don't have friends, I am not loved, and nobody cares about me. And it's funny, because I know for those of you who know me, you will say, like, you have done tons of friends, you have everybody who loves you, but this was a lie that I've been playing in my head, and a lie that I've been believing for a long time. It was very hard for me, and so it was very hard for me to receive love. So this time around, when this happened, and I really saw how everyone loved me, because I couldn't give back. I couldn't give you anything. Sometimes I couldn't even reply you immediately. And just to receive that love, it has healed me internally of all this. And I told myself, there is no way I can say that nobody loves me. I have no friends. All these rubbish thoughts in my mind. And I just thought, it takes something like this for me to learn how loved I am, and for me to love myself, because I'm able to see how people love me, and I can accept myself, and I can see from your lens, that I am special, I'm unique, I'm strong, and all these things, because in my mind I've always doubted myself. I had these thoughts like I'm not like good enough, or it's hard for people to love me. So I think that's one of my biggest lessons.
And you see how the devil can actually play tricks in your minds, right? You look at her, she's so loved, and yet she felt that way. And then years ago, she told me, she said, "Mom, I have this second child syndrome." I said, "What is that?" Middle child syndrome. I said, "What's that?" She just don't feel loved. So, so be very careful. I think what we receive in the mind, and always, like the Bible says, always guard our hearts. That's the ultimate. Above all, guard our hearts. So we don't let all this come into play. Yeah.
So thank you all for loving me and expressing that love. It's really healed me.
Okay, now her good friend Charlene asks, "Why are you so awesome?"
I think I look around, and I've got Mom, I got my family, I got Andrew, I've got all of you guys. I really can't be anything less, with everyone just being so lovely and supporting me and just so gracious.
And Shane said it's super okay not to be so awesome too.
Shane, if I was half as awesome as you are, then everything will be alright.
Okay, last but not least, but Norbin, I understand that he's a YouTube celebrity. he was very touched by her journey, and he asked, "Why would God allow this to happen to you?"
He's been very real with me. He's been asking me the hard questions, and it's a good question, some of you might be thinking along those lines. Um, I think my answer to him was, in this world, it's not perfect. It's fallen. There are viruses around, there's war around, there's hate, there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of things we don't need. It's not perfect. So it's the same. These viruses, like coronavirus, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care who you are. It will just come and infect you, or it will just come and cause, damage. So it's the same concept. Illness doesn't discriminate. I may have cancer, but someone else might have another illness. Someone else might have another illness. And hardship doesn't discriminate. So it may come in illness form, it may come in financial, it may come in, relationship, divorce, miscarriages. There's a lot of loss, a lot of pain in the world. And if it doesn't come in illness, it will come in some other form. And no one's exempted. Everyone will have something in life that is a challenge you need to cross. So I don't think illness comes from God. I don't think it comes from heaven. It comes from the pit of hell. There are a lot of things that comes from hell. And I can't get angry at God because I've seen his faithfulness. In the valley, he's there with me. In the mountain, he's there with me. So even though I cross through the valley, I'm not alone. He's there with me. He doesn't forsake me. He doesn't leave me. The other way that I view things is that I've been very blessed in my life. And I think one of my earlier videos, if we want to compare, why can't I have a normal life with no hardship like some other people? We don't know what other people are going through. We don't know even all the billionaires and those people that we look up to, that they have the perfect life. We don't know what they deal with, the anxieties or depression or whatever. There's a lot of issues. But I also think about it, and I think, why was I not born a starving African child? Why was I not born, handicapped or with some other illness or with no limbs? It's not fair to them. So you may think that it's not fair that I have this disease, but it's also not fair to many people around the world. And we cannot compare what's fair and what's not fair, because we can, if we want to compare, why am I not so rich as Jack Ma or whatever, or why there's so many whys, but there's also why am I so blessed? I'm living in, I was born in first world country. I have technology. I've got medical support. I'm not in need of financial to pay for medical expenses. I think it's quite comfortable still. I've been so blessed. So I think it's a good reminder to count our blessings, because there's a lot of times we pick on why do I have this hardship, downfall, but also why am I so blessed? If I was an African child, I would be, I think it's valid to be asking all these questions when I'm like really struggling.
I think she has been very brave as well. When, if you remember one of her YouTube videos, she actually showed that piece of paper with all the black dots about her cancer. And she said, why concentrate on these few black spots? Why not focus on the white parts of the paper, right? So I think that's why I think the idea is to focus on the positive sides of things, focus on all the blessings God has given instead of all this. So it's a journey we have to go through, and God will see us through without a shadow of doubt. Glory to God. So, all right.
Is that all the questions we have?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. All the questions for now. Thank you for tuning in. I'll put a link to the video in the description, so if you want to refer back to that, you can. For some people, if you're new to YouTube, I know some of you are, you can always click subscribe and click on the bell notification if you'd like to be notified on when a video comes out, so you know you don't have to check every day. I know some people do that. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Cancer.